What's up, guys? It's your boy Yosa here. I'm bringing you another YouTube video, and today's topic and video is going to be about how much us Pepsi drivers make. And I'm just going to first make a disclaimer that all Pepsi locations, it varies. It varies on a lot of different things, and I'm going to get into those specific, things to best of my ability. And I will tell you, it's kind of complicated, right? So this is going to be a pretty long video, but hopefully you stay to the very end. And at the very end, I am going to let you know or actually show you a screenshot of like one of my best, Pepsi weeks, right? I made the most money. So hopefully you stay tuned to the rest of the video. And with that being said, let me get right into it. And I would like to start off with the question, how are we paid? And my answer is it depends on your Pepsi location. Some locations are hourly, some are salary, and some are commission plus hourly. I know it's confusing and it's not direct, but that's just how Pepsi does it. It varies on your location. For example, at my previous location, we were strictly hourly. So whatever your, however long hour it took you to do your job from start to finish, that's how much they paid you for the day. In my current location, we are commission plus hourly, and I'm going to break that down, once I start showing you my pay stub. And because, in my current location now, we are a bigger location, so we service more like area around us. So we have more business, therefore we need more drivers. And so at this particular Pepsi, we have night drivers and we have day drivers. Me personally, I'm a day driver, so that means I come in around 4 to 5:30 and I start my day, and then I'm done whenever I get, all my product off my truck. Right. And then I come back, and that typically, I'll say on average, that's around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. That's a typical driver. Right. But you have fast drivers. Right. And you also have drivers that are slower. Right. And to each his own. Pepsi doesn't care personally how fast or how slow you are. All they care about is making sure you get everything on your truck offloaded and, making sure you, service all your customers. If you meet all your customers, they don't care how long or how fast you take, right? Just make sure, the customers are serviced and they're, for the most part, satisfied with the service, right? And also, on top of that, Pepsi, it's a difference. Night drivers get paid differently than day drivers. Like I said, day drivers, we are hourly plus commission, and the night drivers, they are strictly just hourly. So, and I think their starting hourly rate was like $31. Like, I don't know for sure, but it's definitely at least $30. Okay. And the next question I think you guys want answered is how often are we paid? And to the best of my ability, I think every location we are paid weekly, right? It's not every 2 weeks or once a month. Nothing crazy. It's literally once every week. And I think that's me personally. And I think a lot of people agree that that's the best way, right? And the biggest question I think you guys want answered is, how much does Pepsi pay their drivers? And I'm sorry to be a dead horse, but I have to be honest, the pay varies. Okay. The pay varies from location. Okay. Some drivers get paid certain amount of money and some drivers don't, right? But I'm going to give you more factors on how that is so. And overall, the biggest contributing factor I think Pepsi cares about is the cost of living in that particular state. And based off that information, Pepsi determines a pay scale for that particular location and overall hopes to be fair. So I will just say, just because a Pepsi location in California pays their drivers more doesn't necessarily mean they get paid more than a driver from Arkansas where the cost of living is lower. It just means the cost of living is more expensive, so Pepsi tries to compensate for that, right? So just because they get paid $20,000 more doesn't mean, the driver in Arkansas, they get paid $60,000, doesn't get a pay. The pay is the same in my opinion. And some smaller contributing factors that determine pay, and I'll make a sidebar, things that you can't control, is the location of the plant. How big or small of an area you guys service out, and how many customers in that area are wanting/needing product. That plays a part in the pay. Another thing I said is the time of year. To give you a side note information, summers is our busiest days, which is more work, more money. And the winter is our slowest days. So those are the days that are slow, etc. Now I'm getting to the part where things you can't control, like as a driver, right? And I will say the biggest thing for me is your performance. And although I said Pepsi doesn't care how fast or slow most drivers go as long as they get it serviced. To increase your chances of work and consistent work, I do feel you have to have a good pace. And the faster you are at serving customers in a timely manner, right, the more opportunities you will have to work, and that equals more money. So I do feel if you want more money, you gotta be willing to put in the work, right? Because Pepsi is definitely not an easy job. You can't just be laid back, thinking it's a drop and hook. No, you really gotta work for your money. And so I think Pepsi pays fairly for that hard work. Okay, so that's my opinion on that one. And the last contributing factor that I believe is how long you've been with the company. And I said this as a Pepsi Geo driver. And why I'm saying specifically as a Pepsi Geo driver, just because you was a Pepsi merchandiser does not necessarily mean that transfers. I mean, although you've been with Pepsi, but the branch of Geo drivers, they operate off of seniority, or at least that's how my facility is in my terminal, right? We operate off facility. So the longer you've been with the company, the more opportunities you will have to work and consistent pay. And why I say consistent pay is because if you know Pepsi, we're not always booming. Like I told you, the best opportunities to make money is during the summer. That's when we're the busiest. That's when we're hiring new drivers, right? But it starts to slow down as the summer transitions to winter. And during the winter, that is our slowest, right? And so basically Pepsi and, the bosses, the supervisors, they have to micromanage that type of stuff. So when we're busy, of course you hire more drivers. And when you're slower, of course you try to lay off more drivers, which they do lay off the summer drivers. And if you didn't know, when I was hired at this new location, I was a temporary summer driver. So at the end of the summer, they would relieve a lot of drivers, which they did do. But because of, like I told you, performance, right? Some of the top performers of the summer driver were able to stay. It was only like a few, and I was one of those people. So during that time, right, since I'm already, not a full-time driver because I don't have seniority, the drivers that are been there for a long time and when it's slow, they have still 5-day work weeks. Right? And because I did not have seniority and I am still one of the new drivers, right? I still don't have a 5-day work week, which is considered full-time. But just to not discredit them, and I know that may sound bad because I'm not going to lie to you, it was times where I wanted work and I could not work because they didn't have enough, work for me, right? Because I was at the bottom of the totem pole. But I will say what was fair about Pepsi is that it's never been a day where I have not worked a minimum of 4 days, right? So the consideration that I feel like Pepsi does, right, is to understand, okay, if we're going to hire Jalen or some other driver, right, the minimum days you can work is 4 days, right? And I will say, even though I wanted to work 5 days to provide for my family and to make all that money, I could not. So I had to sacrifice. So if you are in the same boat I am finna be in, I just want you to understand that when it comes to pay. And the longer you be with the company, the more seniority you have and the more opportunities you will be able to work consistently. Well, enough with all that talking and all that information. If you want me to continue making videos about pay, because I can always, it's like it goes deeper. But like I said, I don't want this video to be too long. So with that being said, I'm finna now show you my highest paid work week working at Pepsi. Drum roll, please.
Tell them to bring me my money.
I promise you, being able to think of those memes and then be able to insert it, editing these videos so much worth it, right? So, with that being said, all jokes aside, that's how much I made. Was $2,500 and something dollars. And man, I'll tell you, life changing. When I seen that's how much I made, oh boy. And in my opinion, although that is like a lot of money being made that week, I did put in the work. So don't take that for granted. Like I told you, right? Pepsi compensates you pretty nicely for working hard, right? So I was being able to put in all that work, and I was able to accomplish this by a multitude of ways, starting off with my supervisor asking me if I wanted to work 2 extra days. Cause like I told you, normally I work 4 days, but I was able to work 5 because the summer's picking up. And on top of that, they needed more drivers the next day. So I was end up working 6 days. And so that means every single day I was getting paid good money, and collectively working all 6 days, that's how much I end up getting. Okay. So I'm going to start from the top to the bottom, right? Start from the top. So the top, as you can see, I'm weekly. I'm going to say payroll. Payroll period is, from the 7th to the 13th. Pay date, I got paid on the 19th. I decided to blur out, personal information. So now let's go to the current year to date, how much I've made. And that's currently $25,753. And I do like to break that down weekly. So, see what pace I'm on, like when it comes to how much I'm going to make a year. All right. So let's do some math and let me show you how I would do that. So I made so far $25,753. So what I did was I kind of looked it up on Google, and between April 17th and April 13th, I would have 36 more weeks left, to the year's over. And so the April through the 7th through the 13th would be week 16. So what I did was I typed in the calculator, $25,753 divided by 16, which would give me an average weekly amount, which is $1,609 is my average. How much I would average, out every week. And I just times that by 52 because it's 52 weeks in a year. So I just timed that by 52, and it will give me $83,697 at the end of the year. And like I told you, some factors that you should keep in mind is I'm not even 5 days. And to make it clear, I was saying that I'm not full time. Technically working 4 days is full time. If you're just thinking of it 40 hours, because Pepsi just schedules you on the manifest for like 10-hour days, 8-hour days, but those 8-hour days are definitely like most of the time 10-hour days. So basically you're working 10 hours every single day. So I kept saying I wasn't full time, but technically I'm full time working 4 days. I just, was comparing it to like a driver who's been there and who works 5 days, like Monday through Friday, right? So, and I was like Monday through Thursday. So I just have to make that clear. I was, I'm technically full time working 4 days, but the full time drivers, right? I consider them the 5-day drivers. So I'm sorry if I'm confused you on that, but so basically, I know I'm talking a lot, but that brings me down. If I make this consistently every single week, at the end of the year, I'm going to make on course $83,697. And like I told you, I'm not even 5 days yet. It's been many days this week or this week or this year, right, that I was working only 4 days. So you can only imagine the 5-day workers, right? Or the people who work 6 days, if that was possible. I don't think Pepsi was giving out 6 days back then when they were slow, but basically it's just great money to be made here. And like I said, you work for every bit of it. All right. So now I'm going to transition to where you see base pay dollars. Okay. So what I mean by that, here at this location, we're commission plus hourly. That's what I mean. So, how they do it here at this location is we get paid a day rate. So soon as we get in a tractor and trailer, right, we get paid a day rate, and that day rate is $203. And like I said, it used to be lower than that, but like every year Pepsi gives us a raise. So now it's $203 for the day rate, right? So now we're going to go to PBC VROT with a money symbol, right? And I'm going to just keep it real with you. I don't even know what that is. I've asked my supervisor about it, and he actually told me, but it's so confusing. It's such a little like small amount how they do it. It's basically hourly. Okay. So I'm sorry, I can't really give you the rundown on how VROT is, but that's basically hourly, right? And Pepsi got their way of doing it. Like I said, they pay us very complicated here. So I don't like that, but I do think you make more money that way. So I'm not really complaining, right? So now we're going to go into commission. Okay. So let me break that down. So commission is based off of everything on your truck. So every case that's on your truck, you get paid for. in theory, right? And let me just break it down another layer, right? So you got stores that are work stores, and you got stores that are drops, okay? So typically what a drop store is like a Walmart, the big stores, Targets, all those HEBs. I can't really think of all the mainstream grocery stores, right? But the big stores, right? Those stores are drops. And basically, if they're they're drops basically for sure on your truck if they're on a full pallet. So full pallet, cases are 11 cents a case, 11 cents a case. And, the work stores like the small gas stations, and you see the blue pallets that we always carrying around into small gas stations in small areas. Those are the actual work stores. So we get paid more by that case, right? Because we're actually got to work it. That means the customer asks us to stock some product. We got to do more work, because the main big stores like Walmart's, Targets, all those, Pepsi already hires a merchandiser to come to those stores and do it. So we don't touch the product or we don't touch the shelves on those big stores, but the small stores like gas stations, we do. And so basically the work stores, I simplify it off of on my truck is if I see a full pallet on my truck, I'm getting paid 11 cents a case. If I see blue pallets on my truck, I'm getting 22 cents a case. And basically every day, because Pepsi does have bulk drivers. That means bulk drivers are the drivers that go to strictly Walmarts and all their cases are on full pallets. So, they're getting 11 cents a case. So basically how we are, and I'm pretty sure this is majority of the Geo drivers, whoever makes the schedule, they gives us like the first stops. If it's like 10 stops, you have your first 4 stops, the big stores like Walmart's, Targets, all those type of stores. And then at the end of the day, you got the small gas stations, right? So, at the beginning of the day, if it's on full pallets, you get 11 cents. And, at the end of the day, when they're on half pallets, you get 22 cents. So basically every single day, I'm gonna have to break that down, bro, because it's like I don't really know how to break it down without having to make another video. But man, I know if y'all made it this far in the video, y'all probably like, dang, this dude talking a lot, and this is very complicated. And I thought the same thing, but when you start actually getting the hang of it, it's gonna start making sense. And then, like I said, I can make another video to explain that a little bit better. But I'm not trying to make this video too long because I'm already dang near at 20 minutes. But so hopefully y'all bear with me and understand that. All right, now I'm going to give you a little quick rundown of everything we went over in terms of pay. Okay, so base dollars, you got that from, I told you the 203 that Pepsi pays us every single day. So you do 203 times 6 days, which I work 6 days, you get $1,218, right? Okay, like I told you, the VROTC, the hourly thing, I really don't know what that is, but if you do the math, 353.62 divided by how many hours I work, which is basically 60 hours, you get $5.98 an hour, right? So I'm pretty sure that's not how they got that number, but that's just what I'm finna go off a reference of just to make it easier for this video, right? And then the next one, the last one is the Geo Box Delivery Commission. I told you, based off of manifest, right? Every single day you work, you got certain stores that are worth 11 cents a case, and you got certain stores that are worth 22 cents a case. And basically all the cases that I did that week wound up to giving me $958. And just to be general, I will say I averaged around 4,000 to 6,000 cases that week. So I don't really look at it that way. I look at it every single day. And basically that's how I got that number, or that's how Pepsi got that number. And sometimes I do my own calculations every single day to make sure, they don't shortchange me, which they never have. So yeah, that's just the gist of how we get paid. So hopefully you guys like the video. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Any recommendations? And appreciate you staying this long in the video. And you guys have a blessed, wonderful day. Peace.